stop. No, no, we won't go. I'm hugging your parents in spirit. Yeah, I know that we on this case and we demand answers. Oh, they expose. The real queen of receipts dropping. Oh, and we got your back. Somebody gon' talk. Hell yeah, the ancestors walking. I'm so serious. Queen on the case. Oh, they asking full-blown panic now. They trying to shut us down, close our mouth. But I just won't. Damn that. Nolan. Well, we not gon' stop. No, no. Hugging your parents in spirit, yeah. Nolan, we on this case and we demand answers. Oh, they expose. What happened to you? We tired. You don't get the all my kids ain't cover it up. I said, show yourself, yeah. Steady talking about they was his friends. I said, show up and talk if that's the case. Hold on, Nolan, it's coming to the light. Yeah, the queen on the case. Hold on, Nolan, we won't give up. Rest in his peace. We all love you. No. Nolan. Well, we not gonna stop. No. We won't go. I'm hugging your parents in spirit. We on this case. Oh, they expose. The real queen of receipts dropping. We got your back. Somebody gon' talk. Hell yeah, the ancestors walking. Rest in his peace. We all love you.
It's the one and only queen of receipts, the dropping gems in this YouTube street. The lawyer Royce, nowhere to go. Tune in for the infamous morning show, giving the news that you need to know. So don't you dare miss a wake-up call. Then in the evening, I got all for y'all. Eat your dose of daily vitamins. You know the queen makes it make sense. So true.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. With that all being said, let's get ready to get right into it. Okay. Please remember to double check and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving your notifications. All right. Hello, Buckhurst, DC, DJ Big Six, The Lounge, Pearly. All right. Let's get black into it. See Stan. All right. Desmond's here. Abishua. Okay, Pearly, 57 Beige Fox. All right, let's get it poppin', Star Child. Bronze Flat Power God is here. Miss Treese. Okay, let's get into it. The lovely T. Okay, so shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, I see you, Deronda. I am the real McCoy. Okay, Alice, did I say you? All right, so here we go. Before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor. Okay, at 12 Tribes. I see you, DJ Big Six and Exclude Garvey. Exclude Garvey. I hope I said that right. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get into it, honey, because so you all tuned in yesterday for the broadcast where I had an Ocean Springs whistleblower on here, and he was telling us about the goings on down there, the whisperings and the ramblings, and the tension, whether there's racial divide or not. So I find it interesting that I stumbled across this video after I saw Willie D talking about it. Well, he wasn't talking about this per se, but he actually played one of these guys' videos a few days ago, and I actually meant to talk about it, but I forgot. And then I saw Don Lemon talking about another one of the guy's videos, and that's when I remembered. Okay, so I find it interesting. Now, I hadn't heard the second video. I only heard the one that Willie D played. So we're going to play that one first. But when I listened to the second one late last night, I'm like, did somebody put him up to this? I have several questions, okay? I have several questions. He's caving just a bit too hard as far as I'm concerned. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. That's my alarm going off. It's my alarm going off, honey. I'm up an hour early. Just pay attention. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, hey, Nirvana, beloved. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, what he says directly contradicts what the whistleblower said on here last night. Okay, the whistleblower told us, confirmed what I had said about the Klan activity, the Dixie White Knights. Okay, talked about the racial tensions, how Black people are in danger of getting their land taken. Even talked about how they did him and his business. Okay, he had to move from one side of town to the other. They considered him as competition for the white folk who did the same kind of work. The FBI pulled him over, wanted the dogs to sniff for illegal substances, and said that the dog hit on illegal substances, but there was nothing there. Okay, talked about people being beaten up and laid on railroad tracks. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry, but are we talking about the same town? Because I found it all very interesting. Star Child said, yes, Queen, sounds like a few of them have switched up. They got the call. I mean, I believe something nefarious about it. Brian said they promised him a butter biscuit and a piece of chicken, honey. They had to, okay? And from the looks of him, they likely promised him about 2 or 3. So anyway, we're going to get into it because, like I said, I just find this interesting. He was going in so hard. He seems to remind me of exactly what Trayston said. It's like they have some kind of code down there. Now, I'm not saying they do, but it just seems as though that the people down there know that there's a code that you go by, and you better not stray from the path. Okay? Are these people scared? All right? Are they afraid for their lives? I'll tell you who isn't scared. Troy, that was on here last night. Troy is bold with it. Okay? He tells it like it is. He refuses to allow them to intimidate him. That's a real Black man. Okay, that's a real Black man. So with that all being said, this one right here, he's giving Fiddler. And I'm not talking about on the roof. I'm talking about on roots. Okay? It's given Django, unchained, okay? And unchecked, clearly. But with that all being said, and here's the thing. If people like him really want us to believe this BS, what about the good white folk who are also saying the same thing that we're saying, who are also talking about the racism and the hate and hate? And I'm going to show you just exactly the perfect discussion that a white woman had on her live to counter and contradict directly what this man says. You see, because when it comes to racism, do you think I'm going to believe a white person who admits to it and owns up to it and holds their own people to account? Or some black person who shucks and jives, okay, and tap dances and tiptoes around tulips? Who wants to act like, oh, there's nothing to see here, folks? What are you talking about, racism? What's that? That ended in 1863. Are you crazy? Okay, so please pay attention. What? Where y'all said Queen, another black woman was found in a tree in Jackson, Mississippi. When was this? Abushwa says, bring it out, Queen. You know I will, beloved. You know I will. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. You know what? I heard the other day, remember I told you all that I heard on TikTok that someone was hung? I don't remember if it's a man or a woman, but they said another black person was hung. And I told you I hadn't seen it anywhere on the news. And the guy said that he had just heard about it and will get further details. Oh, Lord, what is next? Let me see if I can find anything on Google real quick. If it isn't one thing, it's another. And then we know the history. Yep, there it is. I know you lying. No, you lying. It sure is. Here it is right here. Lord, and he's sitting up here trying to convince us, like we're crazy, that it's nothing to see here, folks. I get so tired of these type of black folk. I really, really do. We need to start ostracizing them, just letting them live off by themselves, separating ourselves from them, because they are not in our best interest. And quite frankly, I believe they're dangerous. Okay, I believe they're dangerous. Okay, so now we got to talk about this. Let's just get into this video. Okay, let's just get into this video so you all can see what Stephen from Django has to say. All right, like, sub, everyone, please like and share. And then we got to talk about this woman being hung. Hold on, you all. I'm sitting over here so perplexed. I'm clicking on the entirely wrong thing. Okay, here we go. And this guy, mind you, he's supposed to be a family friend of Nolan's. Let him tell it. He said that he gave Nolan his first haircut and that he knows the family very well. Please pay attention.
See, here's a lot of things that the people in the back of the room don't know. Yes, us locals, we are privy to a lot of things because we know these people. I gave Nolan his first haircut. I know his parents. Been knowing them for years. Been knowing his mom since she was like in high school. I'm real good friends with her family. So here's the deal. When that video came out, and you hear them people on there talking that lady dug up and went and researched and brought up the sounds. The truth is this: if that video is legit, it's a few people in trouble. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Now see, this is the stuff that you gotta wait for. This type of evidence, right? Now, I'm gonna help you out here. Alright? I hear Bart and them parents are suing. Bart's name was mentioned on the video. Okay? Well, I asked one of his friends, who was a black guy, about Bart a few days ago. And they said that Bart was cleared already. And according to the black people, they cleared Bart. I don't even know if the police cleared Bart. But it sounds like the black people that's involved cleared Bart. They said Bart ain't had nothing to do with it. But Bart's name is all over that tape. But if these black guys are telling the truth, then guess what? You see why his daddy's suing. And that's what I'm saying, people. You can't just be so quick to just do this type stuff, man. This stuff take time, bro. Investigation. I'm gonna tell you something, man. By the time it's all said and done, half of Ocean Springs might be going to prison, or half of Ocean Springs might be going on a vacation. You don't know yet, so just chill. And like I said, I know these people. I know they family. All right, we all been knowing each other, so ain't nobody on here taking up for nobody. I'm not looking out. I'm not looking out for nobody on here. I'm only speaking what I think is best to be spoken to keep the peace until the facts come out. And yes, there are two people that names was turned in. They were the last two that people saw them with. One is a guy and the other one is a girl. And I try to tell you guys that if they can get a conviction, the local authorities will get a conviction if they can. But these people's names was turned in to them, and I will not be repeating their names. And yes, this was told to me, 6 days ago?
About something. He sounds like Tatum. How Tatum comes out and gives you information and then says these things were told to me, and says it with so much authority as though that makes it factual just because he said it. Also, I want you all to pay attention to the very fact that he wants to sit here and tell us that we need to wait. Basically wait for the facts before we say anything, and that may be true. But people are going to have their opinions, and people are going to discuss their opinions and views on the situation. That's how life works, and especially on social media. That's why it's called social media, because people get on here and they socialize about different things and topics. So that being said, just as well as he wants to tell us that we need to just fall back, okay, and wait for the facts and the evidence to come forward, well, maybe he should do the same thing and take his own advice, okay, because he seems to be saying, his own views and opinions, but the opposite of what we're saying, and he doesn't know if what he's saying is true any more than what we know. If we know, then what we're saying is true. And I think from the looks of it, we have more evidence than him. All he's doing is talking. We've heard the audio. We've heard the interviews where they told lies, blatant lies, and were caught in it. And when they make contradictions, we know that Katie said one thing and Warren said another, and their stories didn't match. We know that now Katie has been seen in a picture, supposedly or allegedly on a boat, okay, with Bart, from the looks of it, allegedly. So that all being said, beloved, I don't know why you think that we're supposed to just take your word and act like there's nothing to see her folks. Okay, and not to mention, there have been a myriad of other people that have come out and said how it is in Mississippi in general. So we're supposed to think that Ocean Springs is some quiet, quaint, little peaceful, loving, caring place with no shadows of racism lurking anywhere in any corner or crevice. That's what we're supposed to believe. That everything's just fine and peaches and cream, and that the black and the white folk walk hand in hand. They all go to the same church. They have brunch together, play tennis and golf together. Is that what we're supposed to think? And if that is the truth and be so, then please explain why in the hell that we were told yesterday by Ocean Springs residents, okay, a whistleblower, that in fact there was black folk, one in particular, being beaten. And I forgot I have the receipts, being beaten and placed on tracks. And last night, someone sent me the links to that. So we're going to listen to it. We're going to watch the reporting or whatever right after these messages, because this man clearly needs to sit down somewhere. Okay, that's what he needs to do. It sounds like someone has set him up to do this. Do they have something on him? Is there some deep, dark secret of which he holds? Okay, I have several questions, but let's continue, because he thinks he's cooking and telling us about ourselves and telling us that we don't know a darn thing about Ocean Springs because we don't live there. This is giving Tracy and Shepherd vibes and energy. Remember when Tracy said they don't even know who they're dealing with? Down here in Ocean Springs, we look out for one another. Yeah, we look out for one another. That's what we do. They don't even know who they're messing with. You hear it? He sounded like a country cowboy that meant business, honey, wearing cow boots and tight jeans. Except his jeans were dirty as hell. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue.
And I just been holding it until today. So we're gonna see how that pan out and go from there. And this is coming from one of Nolan's friends who was very, very influential in turning their names over to the authorities. So last night I saw, remember the boy that spoke to TN?
Now, is this Bart that he's speaking of? Because if you recall, Bart is the one they reported turned in 20 names. This was right when he came out, or when they came out with the report that he's going to sue. And they said Bart gave about 20 names or 22, somewhere around there, right? It was 20 names at least. So is that who he's talking about? Okay, because he said this person is directly responsible for giving them names. But let's continue.
And I talked with him, and you know, they just having a hard time right now dealing with things. He don't even want to talk about it anymore to anybody. I mean, he was like, you know, people not gonna believe me and the things that I'm saying and relaying to the world, that down here we don't have that racial component that the world thinks that we have. We, for the majority of it, we get along, point blank, period. These guys haven't experienced any racial tension in their life. Another guy that's a Division I football player, linebacker, played in a bowl game last year, all from Ocean Springs, graduated. I spoke with him as well, and he told me, man, I've never experienced any racism here. He said the teachers do whatever they can to help us out. He said they even come pick us up from the house and do tutoring after hours with us, whatever we need. And they are upset at the world, how we are being treated down here in Mississippi, especially South Mississippi. And this is their words. You know, them young boys was trying to school me, you know, because I had asked, said, you know, do you want to get on my platform and speak? And he was like, basically, no, well, it ain't no more point to it, man. We done said it all, and if they don't want to believe us, man, then it ain't nothing we can do about it to make them believe us, bruh. And the young man is right. And I've been thinking on what that boy told me last night. I had dinner, and he was there, and I feel bad for him, man. You know, I thought about him a lot last night. The things he's dealing with. It's a terrible situation down here, people. A lot of black people down here don't like the way the blacks are communicating with me in my comments. I say it's life, you know. It ain't really nothing you can do about it. It is what it is, you know. We should all have a better dialogue with one another, especially as adults. And here I am just speaking the truth, telling y'all what's going on down here and how we living. And I'm getting caught all kind of things just because I'm telling you what it is. It just don't make no sense, man. It's just craziness, you know, that somebody who don't even live here think you can tell us better on how we're living down here, because white folks and black people are making babies together. I'm talking about y'all don't have a clue. And you know, that was an old thing to see. a black man and a white woman having kids. But the new trend is it's a lot of white guys with a lot of black women down here too. That's the latest trend in the past 10 years is white men are dating and marrying black women, and black women are choosing to date and marry white guys. People, see, it's harder for y'all to believe because y'all been watching this stuff on TV. Down here, a lot of white people make it a point to try not to ruffle the feathers of black people and have any racial problems, because it was.
No. Hold on. Did I hear what I think I just heard? Did this man just say that down there, the white people try not to ruffle the feathers of black people? Now, do you all hear the whole load of BS? So you mean to tell me white folk down in Ocean Springs, Mississippi is tiptoeing, walking around on eggshells, pray tell, as not to upset the black population? Is he serious? He's trying to make it sound like they live in Mayberry with Andy Griffith and Barney Fife. Okay? He needs to sit down somewhere, because you know what? The very fact that he is laying it all on so thick is blowing me right about now. Literally. Okay, but let's continue.
Once upon a time, a problem down here. So it's a conscious effort on both sides not to ruffle the feathers. It is. It's a conscious effort. I was in Lowe's the other day, and a white guy just walked down the aisle, just came and shook my hand, said, "How you doing, brother?" I said, "I'm good." He just kept on walking. You know, it's like that here. I mean, Uber drivers, black people coming in from out of town, they're like, "Man, when I thought it was going to be racist when I got here." And I see it was racist in LA and New York and all these majors in Chicago. This is what other blacks that are here saying. And another thing,
he keeps referring to us as blacks. the fact that he keeps referring to us as blacks. Is he serious? And then he's sitting here projecting and deflecting and talking about New York and LA. Who else did he say? You mean to tell me it's worse in New York than it is in Mississippi? I'm sorry, sir, but I beg your finest pardon. Okay? I beg your finest pardon, sir. He needs to stop. I cannot believe it. Robin says Don Lemon flipped. You know, maybe those lawsuits being threatened is what made Don Lemon flip, honey. I have several questions. Please pay attention. We'll talk about him at a later date.
y'all got to understand, we are a military community, which means these black people have came here to South Mississippi from all over the world, and they never leave. They come here and they stay. They make a home here and raise their kids here. Why is that? You think because they down here getting lynched? Come on, people. Come on, man. Stop it.
He's trying to make us, oh my goodness. He is really running game, you guys. Listen, beloveds, he is really running game here. Only it's not working on those of us with sense. But nonetheless, that's what he's doing. He is sitting up here laughing and mocking us as though we all sound like a bunch of ranting fools. As though this is the most far-fetched, ridiculous, nonsensical thing that he has ever, in fact, heard. I can't believe it. I can't believe my ears. I absolutely cannot. The fact that he is sitting here spewing this foolishness, but laughing at us? We're the clowns? I absolutely cannot with him. Okay? I absolutely cannot. JDL called him Tatum Jr., okay? This man is doing exactly what Tatum, in fact, does. Please pay attention. Okay, he's acting like everything is just so nice and sweet. There's nothing to see here, and y'all are just making too much out of it. You're going to look foolish when the truth comes out. But in fact, the truth already is coming out, allegedly. At least I believe it's the truth, some of it. Now, I do believe that some people are out here painting narratives and putting out things to muddy the water. And I'll get to that in a second, but this is all crazy.
As the great Michael Jordan would say, just stop it. Everybody feels like something's not right, but what? That's the magic question. And until we get further proof, the majority of your blacks that I've talked to down here don't believe that something happened to him because of his race. Something probably happened due to something else, but not because he's black. Probably over a girl or over whatever else they probably had going on.
He sounds ridiculous because if something happened to a black man over a girl down there in Mississippi and it was at the hands of any other person than another black person, yeah, it was absolutely about race. Okay, we've been having these issues forever in Mississippi, in the United States, but specifically in Mississippi. Okay, that's the main thing that got Emmett Till taken out of here, sir. So you sound ridiculous. And the fact that he's sitting up here laughing at us and gloating, okay, like we're some kind of idiots, please make it all make sense. Has he lost his ever-loving mind? Because I would like to know this. If everything is so peaches and cream down there in Ocean City, why did Troy sit here, the whistleblower, last night and tell us all of this other stuff was going on? Hey, Lisa Cabrera. Hey, beloved. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. You all give a shout out to my dear sister, Lisa Cabrera. Now, I have several questions, sir, because the whistleblower sat right here and told us about all of the nefarious things that go on. All right, trying to take black people's land. Okay, allegedly. A black man found beaten or was beaten behind a bar called the Lynchburg. Mind you, the name of it was literally Lynchburg Landing. And then his body was supposedly placed on the railroad tracks, and they said that he did it to himself. But he was beaten before he ever got on the track. So who did that? Not to mention the incident where he said some black man was beaten and found dead and there was a hood over his head, but they said he did that to himself. Maybe that was that same guy, but he told us several stories, sir. And that's how they all ended. With a dead black person, it was always deemed an accident or a self-deletion. But there's nothing to see here, folks, according to you. This man is definitely Django, okay? A fiddler on the roof. I'm sorry, fiddler from Roots. Okay, because please pay attention. Let's continue. It's all crazy.
That's just the way people feel until further notice.
All right, well, as you can see, he clearly thinks he told us. But here's what I want to do. Now that we have heard from him, and I actually think that someone paid him to do and say those things. Now, I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, that's just what I think. I think someone gave him, or maybe he was threatened. I don't know. Or maybe he's just brainwashed. Now, we all know that everything is alleged at this point. We don't know who did what. We don't know if Bart, Warren, or anybody that was on the boat with Nolan did anything, but we absolutely think that someone did. And we have a right to our thoughts and beliefs. Now, with that being said, I want to go to this video because clearly there's other people who don't agree with this man, and some of those people don't even look like him. Okay? Please pay attention. Some of those people don't even look like him. I want y'all to listen to what this white woman says. Her name is Lively with Ashley. And Ashley has something to say, and it doesn't sound a thing like what he says. In fact, it sounds exactly the opposite. And so I think I'm going to take her word, not his.
From Mississippi, and on the 4th of July, my son's best friend came with us to my family's get together. And their friend is black, and he was the only black person. My son's friend was obviously going to be protected with us, as are all of our black friends, because I'm very aware of how racist people can be in Mississippi. And I even told my kids before we left for my family's 4th of July thing that if anyone said anything racist, that they knew that their mama was going to speak up, say something, because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my own family. I'm going to call you out on your racist BS, and that we would immediately leave, because I'm not going to tolerate that ever. So my kids know that about me, but I also want to make sure that they know that we have to speak out no matter who it is. I don't care if it's family. People come out and are saying, you need to warn your kids about being the only black person amongst a group of white people, especially in certain places around here. Very much so. I agree with it. I'm always telling my kids, if you are with your friends who aren't white and you're around any certain area and someone comes out saying racist stuff, you have to be the one that speaks up. You have to intervene. When my kids were little and they would go play basketball at another guy's house, his neighbor always hung a Confederate flag. And I would tell my boys, if y'all are set on playing basketball there at your friends, please know if that man ever comes outside of that house, you have to be the one to speak to him. Do not let your black friends try to say anything because you never know what that man might do to them. So, as a white parent who is very aware of the racism here and everywhere, in most places, unfortunately, it is my job to make sure I educate my children simply not on being not racist, but I want to teach them, and I do teach them how to be anti racist and how to use the privilege that they have as a white person around here to make sure that they're the ones speaking up and intervening to protect all their friends who aren't white, because they're going to be viewed differently than their black friends. And so they have to do that. They have to step in. So if you're a white person and you get offended by people saying, don't let your black children be the only black person going somewhere with a white family, we should not be offended. We should be very aware of what they have to deal with all the time. And it doesn't matter if we're the exception to that rule. We should understand where they're coming from and then also do our part to make sure we're educating our children on how to be better stewards of the privilege that they have, especially in these places, and to make sure that they're protecting their friends. I'm from Mississippi, and on the 4th of July, my son.
Okay, so you all heard that. Now that's a white woman saying that. Okay, so are we supposed to be listening to him? He seems like he's absolutely delusional. Maybe he's just, you know, doing what or believing what he wants to believe. I don't know, but it sounds crazy. Okay, now I want you all to hear about this man, Kevin Shaw, that the whistleblower was talking to us about last night. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, here it is. Now, one of these articles, unfortunately, it won't let me open it. Hold on. Okay, so anyway, this was a high school football player. Okay, a high school football player by the name of Kevin Shaw. Now, this is one of the people that he told us about last night. Now, there's limited information. These articles are very short, but this was in July of 2005. Kevin McGee, sorry, I said Kevin Shaw. His name is Kevin McGee. Okay, so Kevin McGee, maybe that's why I can find this other information. Hold on one second, please. Okay, now with that all being said, Kevin McGee was last seen early in the morning of January the 27th, 2004, hours after he was in a Biloxi lounge. Now, they say he hadn't shown up for work in a couple of days, and that appeared a little strange for him and his characteristics to not just show up. Okay, this is what the Biloxi police investigator Michael Shaw said. Okay, so this is, hold on, yes, Queen, he dropped a lot. Shout out to Troy. Absolutely, he did, right? Thank you, beloved. Okay, so now with that all been said, goes on to say that a few days later, McGee's body turned up in the water near Deer Island. Now I want y'all to pay attention. Deer Island, okay? And then we had Nolan on Horn Island. I'm just saying. Anyway, it goes on to say his body turned up in the water near Deer Island. He died from drowning. Okay, same scenario. His family cannot accept that he drowned, but his sister has a lot of other questions. Oh, no, I'm sorry. His family can accept that he drowned, but his sister has a lot of questions. Where is his wallet, or where was his wallet? Where were his shoes and socks? And why on a cold January night was Kevin in the water wearing only a t-shirt and shorts? His sister Carla Owens says his car keys were at home. He had just bought some things at Walmart that morning. We found it on the tape at Walmart. And so even if it was an accident, there was some foul play that went along with it. But investigator Shaw can't prove foul play. And after 4 months, the leads dried up and the case went into an active file. So if somebody comes in today with additional information, we'll pick it up and run again. Now, mind you, this is an old article. So what's sad is that he left this world with a 9-year-old daughter that will never know how her daddy really died, and I have no answers for her. And I feel like there are some people on the Mississippi Gulf Coast that either he lived with or worked with that know something. Now, this is what Owens said, his sister, Carla Owens. So until someone comes forward with answers, Kevin's family can only wonder what happened to him. At the time of his death, Kevin McGee worked as a chef at the Palace Casino and had just been promoted. Okay, now I want you all to pay attention. This man wants to sit here, okay? He wants to sit here and act like there's nothing to see. But hold on. Now, let me see what this other article says. Okay, Kevin Howard McGee was age 36. He disappeared after being seen in a Biloxi lounge during the early morning hours of January the 27th in 2004. Body was found in water near Deer Island, just off Biloxi. Now, they say, according to a report from WLOX, several aspects troubled his family in the case. The fact that Kevin was last seen after leaving a Biloxi lounge, that his body was recovered near Deer Island, that he was wearing only a t-shirt and shorts, and despite it being cold January weather, that his wallet, shoes, and socks and car keys, or shoes, socks, and wallet were missing, and the car keys were at home. Now, surveillance reportedly showed him shopping at Walmart, and the family believed these circumstances suggested something other happened before he entered the water. So they said the police investigated the case, but said they could not establish evidence of foul play. And here's the thing, though. They didn't really investigate it that long. 4 months? 4 months is how long they investigated. I want you all to pay attention. 4 months to investigate a homicide or a potential homicide. Said they couldn't establish any evidence of foul play. And after several months, the investigation became inactive because leads dried up. Though the police stated they would reopen it if new information emerged. They say he was a lifelong Biloxi resident. He worked at the chef casino, the Palace Casino Resort, and had recently received a promotion. He was an Ocean Springs High School graduate and had attended Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. He had left behind a 9-year-old daughter. So with that all being said, listen, this man is sitting here acting like none of this stuff happened, because I know he's heard about it. Okay, if we're hearing about it now, and he's a resident of Ocean Springs, has been living there, anywhere in Mississippi, period, he knows all of these things. So the fact that he's sitting there trying to act like everything's so gravy and everyone gets along and holds hands and goes skipping down the street is absolutely crazy. Okay, absolutely crazy. Now, I don't know who put him up to it, like I said, but it seems like somebody clearly did. It seems like someone clearly did. Hold on, let me just check on one thing. Now, they said in the first article, they said that the first article that it was 4 months, okay, before the leads dried up and they just gave up. Let me just check something real quick. Hold on, beloved, because I can't remember how long a detective usually works on a homicide case. But I know darn well I would think it would be more than 4 months. Okay? Please. I know one darn thing, they usually work during the day, 12 to 18 hours sometimes in a day. That's what they do. And so with that all being said, I'm just saying 4 months seems a little bit light. That just seems just a little bit light. And then if he couldn't get any leads, why didn't he put somebody else on it? I have several questions. Okay, because yeah, it says it's usually 3 to 12 months Okay, 1 to 2 months for the intense daily investigation, gathering digital forensics and waiting on initial lab results. And then 3 to 6 months peak period for interviewing secondary witnesses, reviewing cell phone records, and building the legal case. And then 6 to 12 months, the case slows down if leads dry up, but then the focus should shift to reviewing evidence or waiting for advanced DNA testing. So please pay attention. So just because the leads dry up, you don't just quit the case and say, okay, let me just put this on the shelf, nothing else to see until we get further information. No, you have to look for information because it's not just going to fall in your lap. Although sometimes it may, sometimes someone may just decide to come forward, but that's far and few in between. Usually you have to be out there, boots on the ground, pounding the pavement, trying to get answers, turning over rocks, looking under stones. That's what you have to do when you seriously want to find out who did what and get the family justice. But did they really? Because it doesn't sound like it. Okay, it doesn't sound like it at all. So anyway, I just find it all interesting. But hold on, let's go to this. And then another thing too, it's also 12 plus months for the investigation before it's transitioned to a cold case, okay, status if all actionable leads are completely exhausted. Okay, so at least a year he should have been investigating it, is all I'm saying. Because 4 months, really? Talking about leads dry up. Yeah, well, leads dry up all the time, but you have to keep looking. Sounds like shoddy police work. And that's no shock at all, because that's usually the case when it comes to things happening down there in Mississippi. Now, let's talk about this Black woman that was found hung. Every other day it's something, but they want us to act like it's nothing to see here, folks. This is a darn shame. And this was in Jackson, Mississippi. Here we go.
Details now on a woman's body found in Jackson last night. Hinds County Coroner Jeremiah Howard tells us the Black female was found hanging from a tree in the backyard of a home in the 500 block of Road of Remembrance. Jackson police are treating the case as a death investigation. Howard says the woman's body was taken to the state medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Her identity has not been released.
I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention. They're saying it's been investigated as a death investigation. Let me tell y'all something. Here's the play here, folks. Here's the play here, folks. Don't let them fool you. Now, we happen to know because I've covered many of these cases, and they always say immediately, no evidence of foul play, looks like self-deletion. Now, the reason, in my opinion, that they're not saying that now they're saying it's a death investigation. You know why they're saying that? Because now all of a sudden they want us to think that they're actually investigating it for once. They don't want to be so quick to just come out and say nothing to see here, folks, because they know how we're shining the light on Ocean Springs, and that the first thing Sheriff Ledbetter did is come out and say and suggest and speculates, no less, that there was nothing to see here, that it's no evidence of foul play. Looks to us like an accidental drowning. And then now we see all of this stuff's going on and how the case is swollen to reach global attention. So now, let us be just a little bit more careful. We won't just come out and tell them there's nothing to see here. We'll wait a few days, pretend we're doing something, twiddle our thumbs, and act like we're really investigating, boots on the ground. And then we'll come back and tell them nothing to see here, because tell them we couldn't find anything. And then at least they'll think we did an investigation. But they're not doing a darn thing that they're doing the same old thing that they've always been doing. Trust me. Okay, they're doing the same thing they've always been doing. Nothing's changed. All right, nothing has changed. They're just changing talking points to keep us off their backs. They can miss us with it, because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back with the same old story. Self-deletion. Okay? That's what it is. Because how you know that's what they're going to do is because if these are the same people that come out here and tell us, that's right, a TA Queen of Phoenix. That's right. Because if these are the same people that come out here and tell us ignorant lies like, oh, he did it to himself, it was self-deletion, when a man is swinging in a tree 20 feet from the ground, hands tied behind his back and pants pulled down to his ankles, but he did it to himself. How do you get up in a tree and tie a noose with your hands tied behind your back? Who are you, Houdini? No less. So with that all being said, these are the same people that told us that a man with broken legs, found with 2 broken legs, did it to himself when he was found in a tree. This is what they do. So if they know they can tell us things like that, because they know they can, because they do. So the point is, they tell us these ridiculous lies and they don't even care whether we believe them or not, because they know at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do because they're running it. This their system of wanton supremacy, and we just live under it, sadly. And they have all the power and we don't. That's what they know. So there's that. Also shady and clearly nefarious at the end of the day. That's just what it is. Now, this poor Black woman found in a darn tree. I mean, I just want to know, how come it's such a crime when Black folk ask for justice? How come it's a problem we have questions? And then we become the villains, okay, in a story of our own demise that they wrote and continue to write. Like, this is all so ridiculous. Make it make sense. But hold on, with that all being said, and then they give you this little minuscule amount of information, okay? They don't give you enough. I mean, they don't tell you, has the family been contacted? What the family have to say about it? They like to try to sweep this stuff under the rug. That's what they like to try to do. But let me tell you all something before I go to this next clip. We're going to be out of here in a minute because I have to come right back in a little bit, because we have to talk about Swollen Martin. He needs to sit down somewhere. I'm going to share my screen. Now, mind you, this is not me saying this. This is what someone posted. Someone just sent me this, okay, while I was on the live, or maybe they said it before I was on the live, but I just now saw it a few minutes ago. So they say this person posted this, and they're saying this is what perhaps Smart, or shall I say Fart, did to Nolan. This is all alleged and speculation, and clearly their opinion and theory, and has no truth or validity to it, has not been verified or substantiated by anyone in law enforcement or any other organization. Please pay attention. Okay. Ramon said, Queen, you mean Colin Martin? I prefer Swollen, beloved. I prefer Swollen Martin, okay? Now, with that all being said, let's go to this. So here's what they say. This is Monica Burns. And Monica says, people keep asking me what I think happened to Nolan Wells. This is my opinion. With all of the facts that we do know about this case, as to an explanation to what could have happened, it would be consistent with the red marking on the back of the head. It would also be consistent with why the first medical examiner did not send the throat. There has to be something that's not right if they are going to the grand jury. They must have something to present. And this is what she posts. Some of you all actually said this. Some of you all actually said this is maybe what it was. I wonder why people are asking her. Is she a doctor or something? I have questions. I have questions. At the end of the day, listen, I don't know what happened to Nolan. I would hope that he wasn't hurt, harmed, or mistreated, or beaten viciously, or anything nefarious. But, so far, the circumstantial stuff that's come out, it's not looking so great. Okay, it's just making me wonder. It's given, I know what you did last summer. Okay? That's what it's given. So, I mean, something just ain't right. But now, let me just tell you all about y'all's buddy, Brandon Tatum. Because this man has him pegged clearly. This man clearly has him pegged. I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay attention. This man has him pegged, and I want you all to hear what he has to say about Brandon and the nefarious agenda. And it's all very plausible, because I absolutely believe it. And he's basically saying some of the same things that I've said, Okay, but more detailed, because I absolutely have told you all that when Brandon Tatum, tap dancing Tatum no less, is sitting up here accusing us, the Black community, the Black delegation, of stoking racial tensions and sitting up here being the racist and all of this and being nefarious, that's what he's doing. When he's calling Black people grifters, that's what he's doing. He's projecting. He's trying to flip the script because everything that comes out of his mouth is doing exactly the same things that he's accusing everybody else of. Okay. Now, Lamonic says, Queen Ahmadiyyah, this is real in this day and time, what we're dealing with. We have some of people are racist too. Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying that all Black people like white people. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. I know some Black people absolutely don't like white people. But the question is, why do they not like white people? Perhaps because of all the racism and things that we've had to deal with. So I can't be mad at them for how they think. That's just how they feel. Okay, and as far as I'm concerned, it's likely validated. I mean, some people just don't trust a group of people whom they have a nefarious history with. But I will not say that they're racist, because racism is just not liking somebody. Racism is just not calling people names. And that's why when racist white people like the MAGA types, the Confederates, when they come out and call us racist because we're shouting out about their racism, because we're putting them on blast and shining a light, because we're complaining and protesting about it, and they want to say we're the ones that's racist, that's crazy as hell to me, because racism is not about not liking a group of people. It's not about just calling people names, because if that were all that it was, I don't think we would have a problem with it, because I really don't care who likes or dislikes me. And if you call me names, I don't care about that either, because I can call you names back. You see how easy that is? So no, racism is a whole lot more than those things. It is all about a system, okay? A nefarious system that upholds one group, gives them all of the benefits and privileges that they can muster. They get the benefit of the doubt when things go awry, and they get seen as good. Even if they do bad things, they will paint them in a positive light, while the people who are being tormented, oppressed, okay, and abused by the police and others, okay, even if they're just, MAGA types, they can take our people out and get away with it by simply saying, oh, I fear for my life. Let one of us take theirs for doing the same thing, and you get 35 years. Pay attention. So I'm not going to sit here and say that any Black person is capable of even ever being racist to any white person. We don't have the power over them. We cannot stop them from thriving. We cannot stop them from getting and owning businesses, buying a house, getting loans. We can't stop them from doing anything. We don't have the power, but they can stop us from doing plenty. They're the reason for mass incarceration. You think we could ever mass incarcerate them? They get away with all kinds of things that Black people get decades for. Okay? The white nurse who broke the bones of infants, newborns in the ICU only got 3 years. Brooke Skylar Richardson murdered her own baby after giving birth at home. Stabbed it, burned it, set it on fire, and buried it in her backyard. She got 6 months for abusing a corpse. That's it. What do you think a Black person would have gotten for doing something of the sort? Okay? Please, these are the same people that bombed Black Wall Street, started a war in Tatum. Tap dancing Tatum says that the Black people fired the first shot. Well, that is true. The Black people did fire the first shot, but why did they fire that shot? Were they not in fear for their lives? Did they not have a reason to fire a shot? Because last I checked, the white folk came for them with lies as usual, as the same when any race riot started. So if they're the ones that started all of these race riots all across the land in this country, what are you talking about? Black people can be racist too. I absolutely disagree. Now let's continue, because let's hear what he has to say about Tap Dancing Tatum, who paints these fictitious narratives and lies.
Is a well-crafted plant to invoke racial division. But the scheme in it, we're going to use a Black man to tear down Black people verbally. Have you noticed we see a lot more of him on
Hold on, let me say this, beloveds. You all be careful what you put in my chat. Do not use any racially disparaging terms for any race, group, or ethnicity. Okay, that goes for anybody in the chat, because your comment will be deleted the first time, and then after that, you'll be in a timeout, and then if you continue, it's just not going to be good. Okay, so just because I know there's new people in the chat, so no racial racially disparaging or slurs or any of the sort in the chat, please, and thank you. Let's continue.
On our feeds, on our pages. He's on CNN now. He's on MSNBC now. He's in these 20v1 debates. I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. He was on a sports channel with Stephen A. Smith. This don't seem odd to you? Let me tell you something, people. Do not fall for the race baiting that they are doing. There is an agenda behind this. There is an agenda. We got to be smart enough to see the tricks and the tactics that they are using. They go on to great lengths to continue to further the agenda of racial division between whites and blacks. We got to smarten up, people. I see through what he's doing. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to get on him personally. I do have some views, but that's neither here nor there. Because I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't take the route that he's taken in verbally tearing down nobody. This man took it on his own power to go interview the boys in the Nolan Wells case, to put his mouth on certain situations that was just totally unnecessary. Let investigators and people do their job, but all he's doing is just following the propaganda plan and further dividing whites and blacks by way of being a black man. And we're seeing this so often with many different figures. There's another figure that I'm going to talk on next. I'm going to speak on next. But people, white people, black people, whatever race you are, do not fall for the bait. God didn't make racists. God made people. And hate don't draw hate. Hate don't drive hate out. Love do. Brandon Tatum is a well-crafted.
Okay, so you all heard what he said. Listen, and I absolutely agree. Like I said, I absolutely agree. And here's the thing, though. We all know that hate doesn't drive out hate, but apparently love doesn't either. Because Dr. King showed love. Dr. King was peaceful. He was kind. He was nonviolence. And the same thing that happened to Malcolm, who was by any means necessary, the same thing, Malcolm, who said that you have to fight violence with violence. The same thing that happened to peaceful Dr. King, or the same thing that happened to Malcolm, happened to peaceful Dr. King. Okay, that's how I see it. So it looks to me like love can't even drive the hate out of some people, because black people, in my opinion, are the most loving people on the planet, the most accepting, okay, of others. That's how I see it. But we get the worst of it, okay? We get the short end of the stick. So please, and Tatum needs to sit down somewhere, because this is nothing but a grift for him, and he knows it. This is nothing but a whole grift, okay? And he is shameless with it too. He has no shame in his game at all. He's perfectly fine being low down and nefarious, okay? He does not like black folk at all, and he can sit there and say that he does, but it's not true. It is not true. The way he talks about us, and then he'll sit there and say one thing and then come back and try to twist it around and say something else and act like he never said something else in the first place. Okay, that's how he plays the game. Remember how he sat there just days ago and said that he was trying to bring the community together, talking about he wanted to meet up with Ben Crump and this, that, and the third. And oh, if he wants to get to the truth and he wants to resolve things, why did they want to meet with me and my team? Who the hell are you and your team that they should meet with you? He wants us to think he has all of the answers. Let me tell you all something. I know exactly what is going on with Brandon Tatum. Okay? I know exactly what is going on with him. And he needs to sit down somewhere, because I'm going to really get into it, okay, on another date. Maybe later on today, I'm going to really get into it, because I know exactly what's going on with this man. Okay? He definitely has an agenda. And I'm going to tell you exactly what the play is here. All right? So anywho, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hold on. Let me just see something real quick. Now, when we were just talking about the black woman, hold on. Let me read this article about the hanging too. Because did they even mention this poor woman's name? even remember to mention her name. Hold on, let me read this article. See if we get a few more details, because that video was so quick. Black woman found hanging in tree behind vacant home in Jackson, but details are sparse. Yeah, aren't they always? Please pay attention. So Jackson police are investigating the death of a Black woman who was found hanging in a tree behind a vacant home in Mississippi's capital city on Monday night. The Jackson Police Department, which has not named the woman, said in a statement on Monday evening that officers located the body of an unidentified Black female at the 500 block of Road of Remembrance at 9:05 p.m. Now, the Clarion Ledger reported late Tuesday that Hinds County Coroner Jeremiah Howard had confirmed that the woman was hanging from a tree and that the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office will perform an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. Okay, now police have not named the woman nor said whether they suspect foul play. Mississippi authorities have investigated other cases involving tree hanging deaths in the past year. In September 2025, a group of student athletes found 18-year-old Delta State University student Trey Reed, who was Black, hanging from a tree on the campus in Cleveland, Mississippi. His death raised fears of a racially motivated murder, considering the history of hundreds of lynchings of Black men that occurred in Mississippi in the late 1800s and early 1900s. What's he talking about, honey? They even happened in the 1980s and 90s and 2000s. But let me continue. Ben Crump, the attorney who represented Reed's family, cast doubt on the official ruling that Reed's death was a self-deletion and helped obtain an independent autopsy. Last week, the Mississippi Free Press reported for the first time that Reed's family said his girlfriend had received text messages from his phone the night before his body was found in which he threatened to hang himself. The family still has questions, though. They said they were waiting on the final independent autopsy results, but have not been able to reach Crump since January. So on the same day that Trey Reed was found last year, police in Vicksburg, Mississippi, found the body of Corey Zerkatis hanging in a tree. Remember I reported on that? Misinformation spread connected. I reported on both of these, actually. Misinformation spread quickly, connecting that case to Reed's, with some falsely claiming that Zerkatis, a homeless white man whose dog had recently been taken from him, was also Black. Authorities later ruled his death a self-deletion too. Let me tell y'all something. At the end of the day, you mean to tell me that Trey Reed's girlfriend came out and said that he texted her? Hold on, let me get this straight. So you mean to tell me that Trey Reed's girlfriend came out and said that she received a text from him that night saying that he was about to hang himself? You know what? If that is true, and I don't believe it is, but if so, we want to see the text message. We want to see the text message. Okay? Make it all make sense. Make it all make sense, because where's the proof? Where is the proof? And let me tell you all something else about this so-called white man named Kerry Zucainis that they keep talking about. Okay? Because I find it very interesting. Because was this man white, and who really is he? Because they had several pictures posted on Google to show who this man was. Let's go to it right now. I'm going to show you. Because I remember when I reported on the story. See this guy right here? They said that he was Corey Zucainis. See this guy right here? They said that he was Corey Zucainis. Okay? And see this guy right here? They were even saying he was. Now they got a sticker on here saying not Zucainis. But at the end of the day, they said all three of them was him. Look right here. They got Trey Reed and him. Then over here, they got Trey Reed and him. You see what I'm saying? And when they do stuff like this is to throw you off, because you don't know what to believe. Now, if you want me to believe that some white man hung himself from a tree, or that someone hung a white man from a tree, yeah, well, you're going to have to think again. Because unless you got some video footage showing exactly who did it, and if it was ever even done, I don't believe you. Okay? Because that's how much they lie. The devils mix truth with the lies to deceive you. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that a white man wasn't found hanging from a tree, and maybe somebody did hang him, but the question is, I would expect, just knowing this country, if a white man was found hanging from a tree, I would expect that they wouldn't just come out so quickly and say nothing to see her, folks, because that's exactly what they came out and said. Was that person really a white man, and why do they have different pictures? And how come we can't confirm which of the pictures is which? And how come they don't have any receipts for this other situation with Trey Reed's girlfriend saying all of a sudden that he, in fact, was the one who texted her saying that he was about to hang himself? Say what? Make that make sense. Anyway, with that all being said, yeah, you know what? You're right. Did they sacrifice the homeless white man to change the narrative? You know what, Lurk Squad? That's a good theory, because I think I may have said that back then when I reported on. But yeah, that could absolutely be the case too. Make it look like, oh yeah. And I'm gonna tell you why they would have done that. You know what? That's a good idea, really, now more so that I think about it, because here's the reason. Because if you all remember why we believed, or people were saying, that Trey Reed was initially found in that tree, because Trey Reed got into it with some white guys about Charlie Kirk. Do y'all remember that? Because Charlie Kirk died. Didn't he die September the 10th? Okay. And then days later, there was a black girl that was on a college campus, and she was clowning Charlie Kirk. Y'all remember? Because I think she got expelled from the school. She got some kind of consequences. I think they kicked her out of the school. Isn't that something? I thought freedom of speech in this country, but I guess that's dead. So you can't say anything about Charlie Kirk's death, even if you didn't like him. But they can clown us, mock us, and do videos and post pictures and memes of George Floyd with the officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on his neck. They can post pictures of Trayvon laid out, or images of Trayvon supposedly laid out, AI generated, Photoshop, you name it, holding Skittles and one of those Long Island teas, or whatever they call them, teas, Arizona teas, right? They can do all of that, but don't you dare, black people, say anything nefarious about Charlie Kirk. So they're trying to make us praise Charlie Kirk after he was so racist, please. But the point of the matter is, what I'm saying is, this guy was defending a young lady who said some things about Charlie Kirk, and those white guys didn't like it. And then right after that, he's found in a tree, and we're not supposed to have questions, but now we're supposed to think that he did it to himself. But if he did it to himself, here's the question that everyone should be asking. If the girlfriend has now come out and said this, why didn't she say this in the first place? If this is supposed to be true, and like I said, I don't believe it is, why didn't she come out and say this in the beginning? Last week, hold on, let me see when this article came out. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. This article came out August of 2026. August 4th of 2026. That's okay. I want y'all to pay attention. So with that all being said, this just came out yesterday. And we was found hanging in a tree last September of 2025. So now all of a sudden the girlfriend comes out. Why didn't she say this in the first place? Why would she put his family through all of that? Last week, the Mississippi Free Press reported for the first time that Reed's family said his girlfriend had received text messages from his phone that the night before the body was found, in which he threatened to hang himself. Oh, wait a second. I didn't even realize that the first time I read it. I'm glad I went back. For the first time, Reed's family said the girlfriend said that. Let me tell you something. I think the family has been paid off. And I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, when people were saying that Benjamin Crump never released that independent autopsy report, and they were like, why didn't Ben Crump release the autopsy report? I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, this is my opinions, purely speculation. Because if you get an independent autopsy, and there are certain people that don't want it released, then you're not going to release it. And that would be the family. And I remember thinking, and this was just a few weeks ago, and I remember thinking, but why wouldn't the family want it released after going through all of this trouble to get it? Either it doesn't say what they thought it was going to say, or somebody has given them something or told them something for them not to want it out there. So I have several questions. I'm not going to believe that Trey Reed did that to himself after they already know or said and alleged that he was beaten and had bruising all over him. Okay? And all of that. So it sounds to me like they were threatened or paid off, one of the two. And if I had to guess, I would say paid off, because some black folk, I tell you what, they will absolutely take money for these things. That's what Breonna Taylor's mother did. Breonna Taylor's mother, after all that marching and protesting black folk did and all the stuff we were saying to defend Breonna, and we still are, the mother got that, what, $12 million, and all of a sudden she was silenced? Now you have nothing to say, lady? Okay, this is what some black folk do. Now, I'm not criticizing this lady for taking the money, because it was well deserved. But what I'm saying is, when you take money for silence, so you can no longer speak on your dead relative, specifically your child, just like Kanika Jenkins' mom. I believe she did the same thing. And now she's out here being haunted by the ghost of her own daughter from the looks of it, talking crazy, looking crazy, and just acting like she's not mentally inept. Or like she's mentally inept, okay? So I just find it all interesting at the end of the day. You mean to tell me a year later, they come out with new shocking details? Yeah, I just can't believe it. It seems like a narrative is being painted. Okay? It seems like a narrative is being painted. I'm sorry. And like I said, we all saw that video of poor Kanika Jenkins' mom. She looked real bad off. She looked like she was really going through it. Okay? Like she was no longer, capable, mentally competent. Like I said, mentally inept. That's how it was looking for me. Now, with that all been said, I'm about to be out of here. Okay, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Make sure you have those, make sure you have your notifications on, okay? Make sure you have your notifications on, because I'm going to come back, because we got to talk about Roro. We got to talk about Roro. Okay, we got to talk about that. What is really going on, honey? People are being exposed. People are absolutely being exposed. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, Gemini said, don't take the money if it's stipulations to where you can't speak on your child or other similar cases. I mean, make it make sense. Okay, make it make sense. You couldn't pay me enough to be quiet. So, that all being said, I love you all to life. Hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, and never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
I'm gone, just tell you right now. I'm gone, just tell you right now. The internet not going nowhere. The internet not going nowhere. We all on that ass. We all on that ass. And that shit don't smell right. And that shit don't smell right. Talking about you gon' sue. Talking about you gon' sue. Whoa, hell, we just all wanna know what the hell happened to no. If you didn't do nothing, then bring your ass to the front and say something. You was his friend, right? So talk. I'm gone, just tell you right now. I'm gone, just tell you right now. The internet not going nowhere. The internet not going nowhere. We all on that ass. Woo. We all on that ass. And that shit don't smell right. And that shit don't smell right. Talking about you gon' sue. Talking about you gon' sue. Hell no. We the people won't go until we know what the hell happened to no. So damn you sue. You got a lot of people to sue. Everybody talking. I didn't say it was you. Now the phones keep ringing, same names in the room. Screenshots piling up by noon. You can dodge the post, you can dodge the call, but you can't hide when everybody saw. If it ain't you, then say it clear. If it is, then why you still here? But why that dude bring your name up in that interview?